This episode of Going In Raw is sponsored by Magic Spoon. With Magic Spoon, you get the amazing flavor of your favorite childhood cereal, but with more protein and less sugar. Go to magicspoon.com/raw today to grab a variety pack, which comes with 4 flavors, and each serving has 0 sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and just 140 calories. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So get your next delicious bowl of high-protein cereal at magicspoon.com/raw today and use code RAW to get $5 off. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson and the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steven Larson. WrestleMania 39 is in the books. Night 2 is in the books. I gotta acknowledge him, man. I gotta throw the ones up because Roman Reigns did what many of us thought wasn't going to happen. He beat Cody Rhodes, this time with the help of Solo Sikoa. Again, and after the Usos tried to get involved, it was a bit of an overbooked finish, which was expected, although it was a bit underwhelming as well. I'm not just saying that because I'm a big Cody Rhodes fan and I want and expect him to win. Just a little bit underwhelmed at how they accomplished it. There is a lot that was actually kind of underwhelming about night 2 of WrestleMania, especially compared to night 1. Somebody in our chat had mentioned earlier, why is it the night 2 is usually kind of the bunker of the 2 nights? And this sort of carried on that tradition. There was
it did, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry. I meant to throw to you. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. And not just so much. I mean, there were some unfortunate things. We'll talk about Shane McMahon's return and how it didn't last very long later. I'm sure that played into it somewhat. The Hell in a Cell match between.
I just realized, Larson.
Huh.
I have the graphic of Cody.
Well, do you have the old one? Do you have the old one?
I'm sticking. It's still going to be there.
All right.
One
It'll be
night,
here today.
I'm going to have the graphic there. Cody's got the titles in the graphic, man.
All right.
Did I jinx him? Nobody tell Cody that I just
All right,
let's
get to it. Let's not worry about the overall picture. Let's talk about that. I know you're upset. You love Cody.
I'm not upset. I'm not upset. I just think that the ending was kind of underwhelming. Like, I thought the finish itself was just not written very well.
Okay. This is how I'm looking at it. I've been saying for a while, Cody needs some adversity. This has been too easy for him. This seemed inevitable. Him winning tonight. It didn't happen. What has he been saying to Solo this whole time? You're not ready. You're not ready. He beats him, ends his undefeated streak. You're not ready. Well, this is Solo trying to show Cody, well, I'm ready. And I'm going to stick it to you and make sure Roman, my guy, gets the win. Another thing I mentioned going into this is like, yes, Cody has Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to take out the Usos. He has no one to take out Solo. There's a missing piece here for him. I've said I'm lukewarm on Cody, so this finish doesn't bother me. I'm trying to see the positive in it, in that this isn't the end of Cody's story going after the titles by any stretch of the imagination. If this title change could very well happen at SummerSlam, I mean, I'd be kind of surprised to wait all the way till Mania next year, but what do I know? Cody will probably be the one to beat Roman for those titles.
No, he's not. I don't think this is a story. I mean, the same could have been said about Drew McIntyre, Like, the same could have been said about any number of people that we thought, oh, this might be the thing. I just think that they're not going to do Cody. They're going to wait until, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'd be kind of surprised if it was Cody at this point. I really would be.
Oh, I'm 75% sure it's still going to be Cody.
They're going to split the titles before it ends up being Cody.
Cody
will get the WWE title, whatever title they end up splitting. They'll split the titles before that happens, but he's not going to beat Roman for it. He's not going to be the guy. And I'm not, it's wrestling. What do I care? Like, it's fun to root for who you like, obviously. But I don't know. I just thought that the actual booking of the finish, I really played up Triple H's ability we're not going to dive into conspiracy theory about Vince is back. Vince was booking. Look, for all we know, tomorrow Sean Ross Sapp will have a report that indicates as such. I'll believe it when I read it. You know, I'm not gonna base this off of who's booking what. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this ends up being a Cody has to face more adversity story, then okay, that's fine. I think that's cool. I think that he's had enough. I think that having a torn pec and wrestling in Hell in a Cell and coming back, that was all the adversity Triple H needed to beat Jericho. So I don't know that's a necessity because I feel like he's had enough. It's just simply maybe they do want to do the 1,000-day thing. And I'll be honest, I would have been cool with this had the actual finish to the match been a bit more interesting than Solo gets tossed. We have a typical Roman Reigns match with a ref bump. The Usos come down. Sammy and Kevin Owens come down. They eliminate the Usos. And Solo just sneaks back in with like a hoodie on. Yeah. It's not up to what Triple H has done in the past with finishes, well, with a variety of other matches. It just wasn't all that terribly compelling, I think, is my main issue with it.
No, I don't necessarily disagree with that. Again, I'm just trying to see the positive in the potential positive in the situation. Yes, it's entirely possible that, tomorrow night on Raw, they announce, we're having a draft in 2 weeks' time. And on the eve of the draft, they're like, well, each brand needs their own champion. So, Roman, you're Universal. We're taking the WWE title back to Raw. They have a tournament. Cody wins that. That's possible, I suppose. But just because Cody lost here, I don't necessarily take that as any indication that he won't beat Roman. You know what I mean? Until they make an announcement about splitting the titles. And in which case, Cody's going to get the WWE title, and Roman's going to carry that belt till probably whenever he decides, all right, I need to break.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I think they're gonna. There's any number of other people. I think Seth Rollins is a good choice, to beat Roman.
Jey Uso is still a good choice. And if they split the titles and have Cody win the WWE title, you could tell the story with Jey, have him beat Roman, give him a run with it for a little bit,
and even that
tell that story, and then someone beats Jey down the line.
There wasn't sort of the character moments that I had thought we were going to get. No. And again, it's not me wanting something and not being happy with, them not giving me what I wanted or expected. Like I'm fantasy booking this. It's just the Bloodline story has been so good. Yeah. And you look back at the old Roman Jey feud from 3 years ago, and it was so good, chock full of character moments. And the Usos drop a big turd last night. Mm-hmm. And then we don't even get Roman, basically admonishing them.
I know.
So yeah, I don't know, kind of lacking on the character moments that we've come to expect is the problem.
Totally. I don't disagree with that at all. And yeah, no, the way the Usos just came in, hit Cody with a couple super kicks on 1D. Owens and Zayn come in, hit them with the finishers, hit Roman with the finisher, then Brawl they didn't hit the Usos with their finish. And then Brawl through the crowd. It's like you don't get those moments, like you mentioned, Jey shoots the devil and misses. He tries to cost Roman that title and fails. Neither Roman wins or loses because of that. You can go two different roads, but we didn't get that moment. Like the closest thing we got to a moment that in any way referenced what happened before is that Sammy and Kevin Owens, to a degree, although it wasn't successful, kind of got their pound of flesh from Roman, where Sammy hits him with the haluva kick. Owens hits him with the stunner.
Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty strong stuff there.
They were like, all right, we're gonna get what we can on you, and so we can bring the bloodline down. It just didn't work because they still have no answer for Solo. The one thing,
but I know, but Solo got tossed, like he was gone, and then he just comes back. Mm-hmm. So, the one thing when you go back and you look at what clearly WWE wanted from everybody's point of view was The Rock. The Rock wasn't going to win. No. And so clearly if the idea was we've booked this stuff out well in advance, the writing you could say could have been on the wall where, they weren't going to have him lose to The Rock. Why would they have him lose to anybody else at this WrestleMania if the idea is the story is to continue? Mm-hmm. Now, does that mean they have somebody in mind, I have no idea. You know, Seth Rollins talks a lot about, hey, I want to be the top guy. Seth Rollins does have the only win on Roman Reigns throughout this whole thing. It was a DQ win. I understand that. But you could easily lay claim that Seth Rollins could. I mean, Roman even mentioned Seth Rollins in an interview during WrestleMania week, I think just yesterday or something, where he said, you know, Cody ran away. He did the thing that I would be afraid to do. He left. And you know, me and Seth are the kind of guys that we want to be here. It wouldn't shock me at all if Seth Rollins ended up being the guy. And I think he's probably got a better chance than Cody Rhodes. But I kind of see Cody at this point as a Drew McIntyre or an Edge or a Daniel Bryan. At least he didn't get stacked with somebody else. He had his shot. And when they split the titles, I have no doubt he's going to get that WWE title, but he ain't going to be the guy to beat Roman Reigns. I don't see it. I think this was his shot. That's my opinion, but time will tell. Definitely.
You know, if the way they booked this to make it feel inevitable and only just to kind of swerve you on it not being inevitable was all to heighten the adversity storyline as it relates to facing the bloodline. When I say Cody hasn't faced adversity, that's what I mean. Since he's won the Rumble, he's had it very easy.
No, I get that. I understand your point.
There's been no adversity for him getting to this point.
But the entire point of the bloodline story is long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
And if you want to extrapolate that out to Cody Rhodes, he's had plenty of it. If you want to go long-term, you can go back to Stardust. You can see all the adversity he's faced in the short term, sure, but the bloodline isn't about short term. It's about the longer story. It's about the longer tale.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But in relation to his feud with Roman, there hasn't been any adversity. And that's what I'm referring to. I know he's torn his pec. I know he had crap booking when he was in WWE before. I understand all that. When I say hasn't faced adversity, it's strictly as it relates to this feud. It's come off as too easy for Cody. And if this is the adversity they need him to face for him to overcome to eventually win a championship, whether it's from Roman or not, if that's the direction they're going to take, I guess that's the direction they're going to take. You know, I expected Cody to win tonight too. It seemed inevitable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But then, you know, it's so funny, dude, because they did such a great job. They did such a great job building up Drew in the same way at Clash of the Castle. And they did it at, you know, in basically his home area, you know, the UK or whatever.
Like the reactions Cody has been getting is something else entirely. This is entirely unprecedented as far as one of Roman's opponents. To see someone that gets this type of reactions, to be this over, to sell this level of merch, to move this level of tickets.
But doesn't that just speak to how well WWE's doing this shit? Is they're using these different challengers for Roman. They keep on leveling up these challengers. And look, I think Cody Rhodes will continue to sell that kind of merch. He'll continue to do that stuff because he's Cody Rhodes. And he'll come out. He'll probably drop the most inspiring promo on Raw tomorrow. And it'll be interesting to see where they go with him. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I mean, there's one guy at this point I can see as being, you know, possibly the guy to take it off Roman. It's got to be Seth. Like we can pivot to that if you'd like. Like who else is out there? I mean, in terms of other challengers, like. Has AJ had a shot at Roman?
Not Bloodline Roman, no.
Not Bloodline Roman?
No.
I mean, AJ is a possible challenger.
Yeah, he's not going to beat Roman for the titles.
No. I'm not saying he's going to beat him. I'm just like listing off, okay, who hasn't Roman? Who is even close to it?
It was supposed to be Orton at SummerSlam until he got hurt.
Okay.
So I guess he could do Orton. But again, Orton's not beating Roman for those titles. People are mentioning Lashley here in chat. I don't believe Lashley's faced Bloodline Roman, so Lashley's an option. But as far as somebody who legitimately has,
who can be the guy?
Seth, for sure.
Seth
as an option. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying as an option.
No. I'm saying like, dude, who else?
Personally, I still think they could still do Cody.
Okay, yeah. Well,
And I would say Jay, but not for both the titles.
Mm-hmm. Jay, it'll be interesting if they try that. It really will be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to wonder if maybe, hey, they caught some magic and they simply don't know, because it's wrestling. Like, it's not like it's a movie where you can pass the script around to a bunch of people and focus group it and stuff. It's wrestling. You know, you're still telling a story every single week and in small, weird segments and matches where people run ropes. It's entirely possible. The Bloodline story is just, they're like, yeah, we don't really know how to crack this. Our analytics say Roman needs to keep on winning. And so we're going to do that. And if along the way we can make some guys like Cody, who are just, huge, then no, we're not going to strike while it's hot. We're going to keep on going with Roman because Fox and USA love him and Endeavor loves him. Who knows? Oh, by the way,
oh yeah,
among everything else that's happening in Fantasyland, we put up the news brief today over at the Friendo Club Wrestling channel. We have ourselves a deal, perhaps. It seems like WWE is, in fact, being purchased by Endeavor, the parent company to UFC, and they're going to spin off WWE and UFC into their own company, a merged company. The products aren't going to be merged. Just the businesses are going to be
business
merged.
entities will be merged under one corporate umbrella. Yes,
right.
That
Exactly.
was from CNBC, and then subsequently Wall Street Journal had some reporting on it. In CNBC's story, there was some talk that perchance it can be announced. The deal could be announced as soon as tomorrow. So, I expect more reporting to be done on it, and perhaps even an official announcement potentially tomorrow. Maybe. I mean, I imagine if there's going to be announcements, it's going to be early in the day, so they can capitalize on the news cycle. So
right.
So we'll see. How WWE's business dealings affects in any way their creative approach, who knows?
I like this here from Dominic Webb. And look, man, I love when people get all up in arms about shit, man. This is what stories should do. It should get you all up in arms, and it should get you all emotional shit. That's when Dominic Webb here says the last 4 or 5 times Roman had won, this has been the reaction, but people still don't learn. Well, yeah. What did I say the other day? Don't bet against the Bloodline.
Yep.
Thank goodness I only had 1,776 points on channel points on Cody Rhodes.
More than that. But hey, congratulations to the Enforcer, who apparently accidentally picked Roman to win this main event and won predictions because of it.
Can't think of a better way to win. He was up at 4 a.m. He won. He meant to pick Cody. Yep. He picked Roman, and he won the Big Red Predictions Challenge. I will say it is kind of nuts out of 164 people for one of the 3 of us to win.
I know.
That's pretty nuts. It is pretty nuts.
Pretty nuts. So hats off to the Enforcer. Congratulations, man.
Absolutely. Do you want to pay some bills before we continue with these highlights?
Let's do that. Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, Magic Spoon. Steve.
Yes.
Ever since I was a kid, I've absolutely loved cereal, and honestly, I still eat a lot of it today. But as I've gotten older, I've realized I got to watch out for all that sugar and all those empty carbs. I can't handle that stuff like I used to when I was younger.
Yeah, man, no, I hear you. And I got to tell you, Magic Spoon has all the flavor of your childhood favorites, but with less sugar and more protein. Right now, if you go to magicspoon.com/raw, you can get your hands on a Magic Spoon variety pack. It includes 4 flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter, and has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, 4 to 5 net carbs, and only 140 calories per serving.
Yeah, it's high in protein and has 0 sugar. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free. I had some of my cinnamon roll Magic Spoon here this morning before my leg day workout, and not only did it taste great, also got a bunch of protein to help get my legs jacked. I got the fruity right here. I'm going to try tomorrow probably. So go to magicspoon.com/raw to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code RAW at checkout to save $5 off your order.
You were doing leg day. Shane McMahon should have had some of that Magic Spoon, man. Anyways, Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for whatever reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of high-protein cereal at magicspoon.com/raw and use that code RAW to save $5 off. Thanks to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this episode of Going In Raw.
And this episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, Steve, we all grow and change as we go through life, and getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process. You know, I thought I had a pretty good idea of who Larson was until I hit my mid-20s. It was around that time that I was feeling really overwhelmed by life and started dealing with severe anxiety. And it got to the point where I realized that I had to go to therapy. While it took me a few tries to find someone I felt comfortable talking to, once I did, I learned positive coping skills so I could better manage my anxiety and hopefully help me become a better version of Larson.
Oh, absolutely, man. Therapy is a great way to deepen your understanding and self-awareness. And if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can help you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are.
BetterHelp is completely online and is designed to be suited to your schedule, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched up with a licensed therapist. So discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/raw today and get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. And thanks to both Magic Spoon and BetterHelp for sponsoring Going in Raw, man. We really appreciate it. I'll be honest with you, man. I was eating this stuff during the broadcast tonight. It was really good. The Magic Spoon.
It is really
legit.
good.
It's legit.
It is really good. It is really good.
Anyways, yeah.
You want to talk about some other highlights before we get to the show breakdown? Let's talk about something I know we both really enjoyed.
Yeah.
With no debate.
Yeah.
That Intercontinental title match between Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. Oh, wow.
Oh, my chest still hurts just thinking about that match.
Woo.
Yeah, that was
spectacular bout.
That was awesome, man. That was rough. You could tell all those dudes were doing exactly what we figured they would do, met and beat expectations. Some of the, man, I know Gunther is the chop guy, but Drew was going chop for chop with him. Those chops of his were absolutely amazing. Those giant hands. Phenomenal match. I mean, I'd have to go back. Triple threats are kind of a tricky thing, it's there's nothing like a one-on-one confrontation with a couple of dudes. But they really did do their damnedest here. Terrific match. I'm probably, for my money, match of the night for sure. I think my match of WrestleMania in total is probably still Rhea versus Charlotte.
Yeah.
But no, this was phenomenal. It was just brutal. Big E tweeted out it's probably his favorite match of all time now. It was really good stuff.
Yeah, it was awesome. Physical, brutal, just chops aplenty. Really fun match. Let's talk about something we didn't expect, and then something else happened after that. So they kind of did the bit. They did it at night one, where, of course, during night one, Miz came out after he announced the attendance for the evening. Said I had open challenge. Pat McAfee answers it. So, and then Snoop Dogg made the match official.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward to night two. Miz announces the attendance. He gives Snoop Dogg some grief over what happened during night one, and this brings out Shane McMahon.
So just to clarify here.
Yes.
Bobby Lashley, one of the top guys in WWE. He got
to stand out on the ramp with his Andre trophy for about 45 seconds. That was his WrestleMania. Yeah.
One of the dudes who's the most over guys in the company, LA Knight. He didn't get his LA moment. Like, why would you have him say over and over again, there needs to be an LA moment in LA for WrestleMania? Why would you do that if you're not going to use him? I don't give a shit who's in charge, Vince, Triple H, whoever decided not to use LA Knight. That's dumb.
Yeah. So we got some breaking news here. Sorry to interrupt. Both White Brownie and Patty Swan here saying Triple H confirmed Shane tore his quad. Didn't blow out his knee. Tore his quad.
Eesh. Oof. Those McMahon quads, man.
Yeah, so that's what we're getting to. Shane was going to have a match with Miz. And given I know Shane and Miz have history, baked potato face and all that stuff. But nonetheless, we don't really need Shane McMahon here at WrestleMania when you got immensely talented wrestlers like Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, and countless more who aren't even on the WrestleMania card.
Yeah.
And then, so Snoop Dogg makes the match with Miz and Shane. Shane goes for a leapfrog. His leg gives out. He tries to stand up. It just collapses under him. We thought he blew out his knee, but tore his quad.
The look on his face was a lot of pain.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, are quad tears supposed to be like really painful?
I would imagine.
Isn't it
large
nuts?
muscle? Yeah.
when Vince tore both of his.
Yeah, I know.
And like he was just in the ring like yelling. It must have been the adrenaline or something. I don't know, man.
Oh, I'm sure he was just in absolute pain, but his attitude show must go on.
Yeah, I know, but it's one thing to like have that be your attitude, but he lives it. He's just up there telling people what to do. Look, man, it's sad for Shane McMahon. He should have never been out there. He should never have been out there. You want to pop the crowd. To their credit, WWE, and again, I'm not going to indulge in this, conspiracy theory nonsense about what Vince is doing, what Triple H is doing. I don't know. It's entirely likely. This is a Vince thing, although he's the one who fired his son, so who knows?
Yeah.
But man, it is bizarre that you have a guy like LA Knight who the crowd just absolutely kills for, and then you bring Shane McMahon out there. And I get it, man. I know, like, you look at the crowd and plenty of people are chanting Shane O'Mac, Shane O'Mac. The general crowd outside of Going and Raw, plenty of our friendos probably like Shane just fine, right? He's a popular figure in the Attitude Era, and I like Shane McMahon back then. I just think that at a certain point, it's like, well, we don't need to see him. You have plenty of people on your roster. It was a bizarrely funny moment, though, and then apparently, according to Triple H here at the press conference, he said that Snoop Dogg improvised. If that's true, that's nuts, because
that's really amazing.
This was like still entertaining. Like they sort of just quantum leaped Shane McMahon out of there. The camera stopped focusing on him. Snoop Dogg got in and he decked The Miz with 2 really good work shots.
Yeah.
And then gave him a really hilariously bad people's elbow.
Oh, it was great.
But it was so entertaining.
It really was. It really was.
Shout out to Snoop Dogg for man. Yeah, that was pretty impressive on his part.
Yeah, it was damn impressive. Finally, before we get to the match by match breakdown, we had the Raw Women's Championship bout, and Bianca successfully defended her title against Asuka, and at basically every turn, Bianca had an answer for everything Asuka threw her way, including the mist. She
ducked it. Yeah. Didn't get the mist to the face, and then hit the blind KOD. But Bianca is so impressive. It'll be interesting to see, when you speak about Cody Rhodes in adversity, it'll be interesting to see what the reaction will be with Bianca. People still love Bianca.
Yeah,
they do. Like the crowd still loves Bianca. At a certain point, you do have to ask yourself, is she going to chase? Are they going to stack some odds against her? This feud didn't really do a lot to show that, Asuka might have her number. They didn't really put a whole lot of effort into that. But it's clear, look, man, Asuka, she's been around for a long time now, and she's incredibly decorated. You and I were always of the same opinion. I think it's not enough because she is terrific. And I thought this would have been a great move to have Asuka win, and then Bianca has to chase. That being said, it was kind of obvious that, okay, Asuka's going to be another one of the kind of, I don't want to say this word, of the old guard over the past 6 years. Bianca's the future. And so, yeah, they were going to have her, if it's not a horsewoman, it's going to be Asuka, who's sort of in the same class, right? She's going to beat Asuka. And then next year, Charlotte maybe, or maybe Bayley, if they are able to build Bayley back up for another horsewoman.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But it was a fun match. Like I said, Bianca seemingly had an answer for everything Asuka was throwing her way. And while the match was good, it didn't feel nearly as competitive as it should have, because Bianca seemed to know what Asuka was going to do before she did it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyways, we can jump into it. Show opened with Snoop Dogg and The Miz in the ring. And Miz says from top to the bottom, last night was full of surprises. We have a new SmackDown with Champ and Rhea, new tag champs, and seven. Sammy and Kevin. It's been a long 2 days. 3 days.
Been, yeah.
And then Snoop says, fire it up, and Amos's music hits. It's new theme.
It's not big man time anymore, man. Bums me out. So what did you make of this match, man? It was 4 minutes and 56 seconds. We sat here and timed it because it played into our predictions. And it was Amos working Brock's back. And, he tried an F5, I think once or twice before he was finally able to hit it. And he hit one of them. He was able to evade Omos's finish. It was a lot of walking around, plodding about. And they basically just hit the 5-minute mark, which I think was like the over under for you and I.
I think it was either 4.5 or 5.5. I don't remember which one it was.
All right. Well, regardless, they went to 5, so they split the difference here.
Yeah.
And it was, which is basically, what we had both sort of thought. I did think that there was going to be a lot of just milling about, and there was a lot of milling about. It was a very slow match for just being in 5 minutes. Yeah. One F5, Brock Lesnar wins this match against Omos.
Yeah. White Brownie has a quote here from Triple H at the press conference regarding the finish of the main event. That's what Triple H apparently had to say. Quote, "It's always interesting to me when people say, how could they do that in this moment? WWE, the story never finishes. We just got to the end of a chapter."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's a good answer,
I guess.
What he wanted to say. Fight it funny.
Yeah, I know.
He's replaced that now. It's always interesting to me when people say that is the new I find it funny. I find it funny that people say, how could they do that in this moment?
Yeah.
Oh, man. My Triple H is not very good. Anyway.
Oh, it's great. You don't sell yourself short, man. You do a really good Triple H.
I do, absolutely. Before we get moving on here, we got a couple super chats. Alex Silva says, why does Roman have to give Cody a rematch? Does Cody have to make it personal and Roman make Cody fight members of the bloodline to get the rematch? I think your point would be Cody would have to win the opportunity again to get back.
Maybe Cody wins King of the Ring or something. I don't know.
There you go.
I'll look at Cody there with both those titles. I just clicked over here and looked at the overlay.
Well, now I've had it Roman. It's been Roman for a little while now.
Oh, you switched it back over. Okay, I haven't paused here on YouTube. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I know.
Beginning of the show.
I jinxed him, man. I think it was all me. I think it was my fault.
You know what?
What have I done?
I used to think that way, like when I used to watch Bulls games, like Bulls playoff games.
Yeah.
And when they lose, I was like, oh, I can't watch the game then. And that's the next game they win. I think, oh, that solidifies I'm the problem. But then I was like, man, I really want to watch it. So next one I watch, they win. I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's not me.
I'll be honest with you. For the moment, that was when we opened and somebody in chat said, I think the graphic is wrong. Kind of maybe a little bit worth it because that's just hilarious. And I had Cody already. Funny. It was the Harry Truman shit.
Yeah.
I had my own Harry Truman moment, dude.
Yep. Cody is your Dewey, huh?
He's my Dewey, man. Darth Cinema here with the super chat says the stars were aligned perfectly. Even if people like Jay White debut tomorrow, he doesn't have enough time to build up a story to be a threat. All right. So, anyways, moving on.
Next, we had the women's tag team showcase match.
I like somebody in our chat said perfectly what this was. This was a triple threat tag team match where nobody was meant to win.
Yes.
Because I think probably because of Ronda's arm, all three of the other teams sort of got them out of the way. They had a match, and then at the very end of the match, I think it was Raquel Rodriguez. Didn't she hit somebody with what was the finish of this match? Ronda just rolled up in there and took Shotzi's arm.
So Liv is about to hit Oblivion, and as she's about to do it, I thought Shayna tagged in. No, Ronda tags in, and then so Shayna throws Liv out of the ring, and then Ronda gets Shotzi's arm. Shotzi had just eaten Oblivion from Liv, and then makes her tap out to the armbar. And I think that's the only time Ronda was in the ring. I understand she's dealing with an elbow injury, so I get it.
Yeah, and this was a fun enough match. Chelsea Green had some good spots in it. Mm-hmm. There was some cool stuff going on in here. But yeah, they just sort of sauntered in. And again, it was probably because of Ronda's arm, but it is what it is. It'll be interesting to see. I'm assuming, I guess maybe it would depend on exactly how much Ronda can do. They'll probably be the ones to take those titles off of Becky Lynch and Lita.
Well, I think Shayna, by the end of the match, had one of her boots off.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of limping around, so hopefully she's not hurt too.
Yeah.
So who knows?
After that, we had a Judgment Day video package. We had Bobby Lashley for about 45 seconds carrying that Andre trophy, poses on the stage. And then he went on Twitter and started liking a bunch of tweets about how messed up it was they treated him. Because, come on, man.
I know.
Really? Like, seriously? Come on. Bring back Shane. You couldn't put Lashley out there?
I know. I know. It's pretty lame. After that, match of the night, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus Gunther. If you like chops, if you like hard-hitting action, this is it. This
Big,
is it.
meaty men slapping. Man.
Highlight early in the match was Drew and Sheamus actually working together, and Sheamus has Gunther pinned against the ropes. He hits, the first of the 10 beats. Drew, chop, and they'd alternate, clubbing blow, chop, clubbing blow, chop, clubbing blow, chop. It was great. It was great.
It was terrific. There was a bit where, after Gunther was getting lit up, Drew is out of the ring. Sheamus hits a bro kick on Gunther, and Drew gets in and pulls Sheamus off right at 2.5.
Yeah.
And, of course, they have a stare down. But then Gunther, of course, was able to take advantage of those two taking their eye off the prize and gave a powerbomb to Sheamus onto Drew and then ended up, what was it here?
It was a power bomb to Drew.
Oh, and then he power bombed Drew and got because Drew had just been bro kicked also.
Yeah. It was a hell of a bout. It's one of those, usually for like the really fast paced, high flying matches, we say we could list off a bunch of moves, but it's not going to do it justice. We can say this person hit a chop, this person hit a forearm. Not going to do it justice.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you have to hear and watch the physicality of this match to truly appreciate it. We had some of our mods, some friendos were there.
Yeah,
and didn't one of them say that you could hear the chops from their seats?
Yeah,
Maggie
they were like
that,
in
right?
the 200s. I think Maggie said that. Yeah.
So that's something else. If you're in that large, if you're in a football stadium, and could hear the chops on the second deck. Woof.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's something special right there, man. That really
crazy.
Is. Yeah,
that
great
really
to see
is.
Gunther win, Mill.
Oh, I know,
it's so awesome to see him.
You got to assume he's going to go after the record for the longest Intercontinental title reign.
He'd have to go about 5 more months.
Yeah.
A little more than 5 more
take
months.
it through the summer, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
the
totally
record
doable.
Set by Honky Tonk Man.
That's still weird to me.
I know.
I'm assuming they just didn't do, did he have any big, awesome feuds or anything? I don't know. I don't expect you to know the answer to that question.
I mean, I'm not the foremost expert on the Honky Tonk Man. You got to meet him, didn't you?
I did, and I didn't quite piece together who it was. I was working at Kinko's when I was 18 years old, and he rolled through because they were doing some indie stuff out here, and they were getting posters made, and he had a gimmick bag and everything. He had the little fanny pack, and I was like, God damn, that guy looks familiar. And then one of his buddies was like, that is his Honky Tonk Man. I was like, cool, dude. Not really into wrestling all that much. But then, a year later, I was really into it. So who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, after that, we had Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's title, and oh man, I can't. I know I said I was gonna ugly cry if Cody lost. I'm a man of pride. I don't cry on camera. I save that for my private moments in the dark, or if I'm at the bar.
Get a beers.
Got a couple beers in me already. I might go tonight, dude. What is tonight? Sunday? Yeah, I might go tonight.
There you go.
No kid tonight.
Cry into your beer.
Bianca Belair's entrance had a bunch of little kids dancing, doing their thing, doing her thing, all with the big braids and everything. Oh man, it was so awesome. It was really so cool. I loved it.
It was really cool.
It was so neat.
It was really cool. It was. It really was. As mentioned, seemingly Bianca had an answer from pretty much anything Asuka threw her way. There's a couple of really good sequences where Asuka was going for some sort of submission move, and Bianca bang right on it, had a counter for it. Not to say that Asuka didn't get anything in. She did. She got the Asuka lock in. She locked in an arm bar, but Bianca never panicked. She found a way out of it.
Yeah.
Down towards the finish. Let's see here. So they're Bianca's in the top rope, and Asuka grabs Bianca's braid and is trying to pull her off. And eventually Asuka hits a code breaker for a 2. Bianca responds by hitting a glam slam on the top rope. And then she looks for a KOD. Well, Asuka holds onto the top rope and escapes, looks to miss Bianca. Bianca ducks it, powers up, or tries for a KOD. Asuka, though, reverses into an arm bar. Bianca just powers her up.
Yeah.
Full squat.
Yeah.
KOD. Bianca gets the win.
Oh my God. Stu is gnarly. Says Triple H said the little girl in Bianca's entrance, mom passed away today.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. Oh. All
That's
right.
heartbreaking.
We got to move on. I'm going to start crying here. Yeah, that is heartbreaking. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so after that, we had Miz and Snoop again. And then Miz, he's got a lot of problems here that he wants to get off his chest. Those pretzels are making him really thirsty. He says, I got to get something off my chest. He says, you're the dog father of WrestleMania, but you put me in an impromptu match against Pat McAfee in a $10,000 suit. And Snoop says, you want to do it again? And Miz says, look, you caught me off guard. George Kittle made it basically a handicap match, and you tried to embarrass me. Snoop just says, my bad. And then Miz says, that's not good enough. He says, I don't go to your studio and show you how to rap. This is my ring, my city, my WrestleMania. And Snoop says, your WrestleMania, your city, this is our WrestleMania. And I didn't mean my bad, I meant my bad. And he points to the ring, and his bad turns out to be Shane McMahon.
Yeah,
and
here comes the money.
So he comes down, he struts and dances down the ring, which probably wasn't a great idea because he did a leapfrog. Him and Miz, they set up the match. They do the match. And within moments, they're doing the thing where they're doing the leapfrog stuff and running ropes and everything. And Shane comes down from a leapfrog, and you can see it buckles a little bit. And then he tries to get up, and it buckles under him. And he just has this horrid look of pain on his face. And he's just down. He's just on his back, like, this hurts. Help me. And then Miz starts like sort of doing, little boxing moves around, the situation, like frozen though. Like his face was like, what happens now? Yeah. And so Snoop Dogg gets up and he looks at Shane. He's like, you okay, man? You okay? And Miz is like, turns to Miz like, you want to fight? Let's fight. Punches Miz a couple times. Miz is laid out. They've quantum leaped Shane out of there. And then Snoop does the best people's elbow I've ever seen.
Oh, it was a fantastic people's elbow. Mm-hmm. It was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Snoop gets the win. He goes and shakes hands with Corey and Michael Cole. That was some, making turn lemon and lemonades.
Yeah, man. It was a bizarre, surreal moment. Yeah. An all-time bizarre, surreal moment in WrestleMania.
It really was. But for that segment to happen, they could have just focused on Shane getting injured and then just kind of moving on or something. But you got the Miz in there, you got Snoop in there, two immensely talented people. Snoop's got a ton of charisma, and they made it work.
Yep,
and it worked.
Yep.
After that, we had Hell in a Cell, Edge, Brood Edge, as I said on the Tron, boldly.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean, it was a choice to do that on the Tron, but then that like mirror ball skull mask he had on, that Edge had on, was amazing.
So I feel kind of bad because we were kind of ripping this match during while it was happening.
Yeah.
Apparently Finn got kind of fucked up. He was bleeding. There was I saw somebody in chat said there was a possibility of a concussion. I don't know if that's true or not. But apparently his head got hit pretty bad. And the cameras, they had to keep off Finn or something because of the blood, maybe.
Yeah.
The entire thing was a bit on the awkward side, and it's a shame because I really feel like these guys were giving it a lot, and there were plenty of people in our chat that were appreciative of the match, and that's good. They put a lot into it. Yeah, Edge coming out and it saying Brood Edge was kind of silly, but then when we actually saw Edge, like you said, that mask was awesome. That was really, really cool.
He had the elevator that brought him up through the Ring of Fire like the Brood.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I think they said it was a Slayer song that was playing.
Yeah, that was really, really cool stuff.
But then, it just went to normal Edge. He took the mask off and they played, his normal theme, and he went to the ring. Mm-hmm. It just kind of seemed like after the Shane thing and after Balor getting busted open, it was like, is this show kind of jinxed now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, is this show just taking a turn, and can this show recover from potentially two mishaps in a row?
Yeah, right. And these two would have had to have put on like a classic Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think maybe because there were still cool spots. Like Finn did the coup de grace through a table. Like Edge moved out of the way. He was going to try to hit him with a coup from this little ledge that he had built apparently in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Because it was just there. So there were cool moments. The demon thing, I've defended it in the past because I think in certain situations the theatrics can be really cool, and it just, it looks neat. I've been on the same page with you in that he doesn't really change up too much about his move set as the Demon, but he does do the thing where he no-sells a lot of offense. He kicks out of shit a lot. Didn't kick out of Concerto, which ultimately beat him. But they did give it a lot. The presentation this time with the Demon just came off as a bit on the corny side.
I'll say this. The presentation of basically, save for Edge's mirror ball mask, the presentation of this entire match was a little weird because they had kendo sticks, but rather than just having regular kendo sticks, they had some that were painted red, some that were painted purple. They had a table that was painted purple. They had a couple chairs that were painted red, and another couple that were painted purple. And it's like, you don't have to have themed weapons.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That really takes, like, the idea of a Hell in a Cell match is like this feud is so intense. This is a blood feud essentially, and to keep the level of violence into one place, stuck inside that cage, and also to keep interference out, obviously. But it's supposed to be like a playground of violence. And having themed and color coded weapons is like, okay, it's kind of a bit much.
Yeah, it's somebody here in chat here brings up it's in broad daylight too. Who is this? IC Saw says it's when you have an enclosure with you can control all the lighting. That's when theatrics really, really work. And Finn, he had like a couple of little goofy rods that have like smoke coming out of them.
Yeah, and
I don't know. It wasn't my thing. I'll just say that. But you know what? Kudos to both guys. They really, you could tell they really tried to do their damnedest with this.
It was a really physical. It was a violent match, but there was just elements of it that kind of took you out of the what should have been like a really intense thing. And maybe part of it was just they had to take the break because Finn got busted open and apparently had to put some staples in his head.
Yeah, and who knows how that would have affected the match also.
Yeah, totally. So the finish of this, Steve mentioned the coup de grace through the table that Finn missed. So Edge follows that with a spear, gets a 2. And so he takes a bunch of weapons. Edge does and just beats Finn with it. Eventually he hits him with a concerto, rolls Finn over and covers him to get the win. I almost kind of thought when Finn got busted open, they were gonna like go to the finish quick.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And they didn't, there was a good amount of match left, and how much more they may have had planned, I don't know. Whether this was truncated at all. Because of the injury, who knows? But I mean, like once they got to Finn and apparently stapled him up, it wasn't like he was pouring blood. There was blood on the mat after it happened, but it wasn't like he was, a typical Wednesday night for Mox.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But everybody's head is different. So afterwards, we have a Bianca Belair interview. She is congratulated. Bianca says, it felt amazing. This is everything. It's amazing. I faced amazing women and missed aside. She's an incredible fighter. And then all the girls come back and they all dance and chant EST. We get the Hall of Fame bit. Rey Mysterio had an Adidas. What was it? Adidas.
Adidas and Gucci collab
suit.
Yeah.
So it had the Adidas stripes on the side, and he still had like a different Muda homage mask.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was cool. And then we had our main event. Cody. Had eagle wings on his coat.
Yeah, man. God, it was beautiful. What really should have been.
It was something else.
Could have been. Yeah, it was really.
And he goes ringside, and his family's there.
Man, Libbity Bibbity's there.
What's that?
Libbity Bibbity's there.
Yeah, and then -1 is there.
-1 was there. Hey, shout out to Brody Lee. -1 was there.
Yeah, he gives -1 his weight belt.
Yeah.
And gets in the ring, and Roman's out next, and he has 6 pianists play before his entrance, and it's just him, it's Heyman, and it's Solo.
Sorry, I was reading this over here, and then it sounded like you said sick penises.
Pianists.
Good time to articulate.
Pianists. So they come to the ring. In a lot of ways, before it got overbooked, it hit the story beats you thought it was going to hit, where Roman would impose his will for stretches and Cody would make a comeback only for Roman to shut it down. It felt like a match laid out for, babyface is going to win.
Yeah.
Solo gets ejected. Like Solo was getting involved early and often, and like the ref was like, "Oh, what's going on over there?" It literally took Solo getting the weight belt from -1 and smacking Cody with it, like the thunderclap of leather hitting skin, for the ref to turn around and be like, "Did you do that?
Yeah.
Did you do that, Solo?" And he tosses Solo from ringside for a while.
You know what'd be great? In memory of his father, if he handed the belt to Solo. That was truly a really great rivalry, Cody and Brody Lee.
Yeah.
That promo of Brody's was just next level.
It really was. That was great. So Solo gets tossed. We have a ref bump when Roman sidesteps a kick from Cody and it grazes the ref, but he's got a bump, so he goes flying out of the ring. Usos come to the ring. They start peppering Cody with super kicks, hit him with a 1D. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn run in from the crowd. They take out the Usos. They hit Roman with a stunner and haluva kick, respectively. Brawl with the Usos through the crowd. We don't see any of them again. So the match resumes. So Cody, I think, had already hit a crossroads. But after all the outside interference, Roman puts Cody in a guillotine. He starts to fade. He powers up. Roman does the grapevine on him. And Cody just has to push his head out. And then, that was before the Usos came in. My bad. So after all that happens, they brawl with the Usos through the crowd. They trade some shots. Cody blocks the Superman punch and hits the bionic elbow. Hits the crossroads. Hits another one. And as he's going for the third, Heyman gets on the apron. And while he's distracting the ref, Solo with a hoodie on, which has been kind of important to the story because of something that Sammy was wearing when he would sneak in the ring to attack Roman.
Yeah.
The hoodie has kind of been part of Sammy and now Kevin Owens' kind of presentation for a while. He comes to the ring, Samoan Spike, then Roman falls with the spear to get the win.
Yeah. Man, I honestly do hope, I do hope that all the compelling figures from this, from Cody to Kevin to Sammy to Jay, I hope that they find something continually interesting for them to do to continue this on. If, as Triple H says, this is just another chapter, I suspect, look, the bottom line is Triple H, he's a wrestler. This is wrestling stuff. Next chapter is going to be like another opponent for Roman. But I really hope that they try to continually like one up themselves when it comes to the stuff that's worked really well. And that's the story, the characters, the interpersonal dynamics between all these characters. And it could be they caught lightning in a bottle and they can't continue it. That would not shock me at all. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can, that they had something really hot with Sami Zayn leading into the chamber. They had something super hot with Cody. If they can get something else, I mean, there's just one other guy who has that with the crowd, and that's Seth Rollins. Nobody else has that with the crowd. Seth does.
Yeah.
But I also understand, and maybe that is ultimately where it's leading, given that Seth was the original sin. Maybe that would actually work the best. I mean, I know Jay is a good one too, but Seth being the original betrayal.
Yeah, I kind of, from Roman's standpoint, to a degree, I wonder if Roman would beat Seth, if that would exercise some of those feelings he has about betrayal to a degree, He's like, all right, I can finally close that chapter, because that's, he's never, not only did Seth betray him, he's never beaten Seth.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, again, there's some good story stuff potential there. Yeah. He can't beat Seth. So then he actually loses properly to Seth, and then you get the face turn for Roman. Who knows? I don't know. We got a bunch of questions here. If you want to load up the Patreon,
sure.
I'm on the YouTube. Jonathan Vieira says, will we get any more 30-minute plus matches like Edge versus Orton or Triple H Batista from the current future crop of superstars? Oh, I'm sure we will.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really want them.
Didn't Cody and Roman go just about a half hour?
Probably. A lot of that is just sort of walking around bluster, though. I think Jonathan might be referring to more like meaty matches like Triple H and Batista milling about.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I don't know. Maybe. C Double says, how would you rank actual Mania matches versus the build to WrestleMania? Okay, so obviously the most lopsided one is Rhea Charlotte versus the build.
Yeah.
Because that was just a phenomenal match with a nothing build, a negative build.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of, sorry, the question, what was most lopsided in terms of?
No, like, we're not going to rank all of them, but he says, how would you rank actual Mania matches versus the build to WrestleMania? Is there something that stands out to you that the build versus the match were either on par or lopsided?
I mean, the most lopsided one was build to match was, Charlotte and Rhea, because the match was phenomenal, but the build was meh.
I think generally speaking, like the Ray Dom build was phenomenal. The match was really good too. You know, they really told a great story in that match.
I think most of the matches, they had good builds. The match more or less delivered. And
moving on here, Mike Stevens says, what are the possible main events for next year's Mania? He says, I think it'll be Roman Seth and the 4 Horsewomen 4-way. I wonder if we're ever going to get that 4 Horsewomen 4-way.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's going to be Bianca Charlotte next year.
Yeah, probably. Mercedes seems pretty happy right now, pursuing other things. So who knows? Who knows if she'll find her way back.
Oh, she'll be back.
She'll find her way back.
With the Endeavor stuff, she'll be back. She's going to do that thing where you do everything you could possibly do that she wants to do. I don't think she's going to go to AEW. I think she'd rather go back to
I don't think she'd go there full time, but maybe do something for Forbidden Door. That wouldn't be.
That's a possibility. Yeah, you're right.
That's a possibility. Kind of answered that one before.
Oh, by the way, we had a raid from Con Man.
Thank you, Con Man.
208 people. Thank you so much, Con Man. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Brandon Monroe asked, with Gunther on the road to breaking Honky Tonk's reign, which 5 wrestlers do you want to wrestle on that road? Just people who can put on like awesome matches. Nakamura. Give me Nakamura and Gunther.
Oh, that's a good one. Has he done Sami Zayn?
I don't believe so.
Sami Zayn. Remember, he wanted to get that Intercontinental Championship.
He did. That was his thing when he was first looking for respect.
Mm-hmm.
A one-on-one with Drew would be cool.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. I agree. I think that would be awesome. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see here. Blind Mask. This is a good point. It says, did West Coast Mania diminish certain entrances like Balor's? They did what they can, man. I thought it was goofy, but you do what you can.
You know what? Even if the sun was down, I don't know if that would have lessened the goofiness of Balor's entrance and the whole Hell in a Cell presentation.
The slow motion. It was cheesy, dude. It's just here's the thing about it. He's so much cooler as Judgment Day Balor.
I know.
Like, he wears that cool blank mask.
I know.
It's just the cool factor is there, not with the demon.
I know.
Mario Prime here with the super chat says, hear me out. LA Knight wins Money in the Bank. The Rock comes back to cost him the title. Q, huge pop. Roman versus Rock doesn't need a title stipulation. Cody versus LA Knight. Money. A lot of things going on there, Mario. I like it, and thank you for the super chat. If it's LA Knight, then I'm into it.
Yeah, if it's LA Knight, I'm into it. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Chavon here asks, if this happens to be Triple H's one and only WrestleMania, where would you guys rank it? Would it be in the conversation of top 10, maybe top 5 all time?
Okay, top 5, probably not.
Yeah.
Top 5 is kind of rarefied air.
Mm-hmm.
Top 10.
Night 1 was really good.
Night 1 was really good, but it wasn't even as... I don't know that it was even as good as last year's Mania.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't remember.
It wasn't as good as 2019's Mania. I don't know that it makes top 10. Hey, that's a good idea for a video, though.
Could be.
It's a good idea for a video. Let's see here. We sort of answered that. You got any other good ones there on Patreon?
Titanicus here says Solo and the Usos always help Roman win his matches. What is Roman's justification for not helping Solo and the Usos in their matches, especially the ones they lost last week? Shouldn't the Usos and Solo feel betrayed by their tribal chief?
Yeah, y'all know this. You know the reason why. He's the tribal chief. He doesn't help anybody. It's about him.
Exactly.
You got to figure it out. Find a way.
Because he frames it as you have to go out there and prove yourself.
Right, exactly.
Prove yourself. Level up.
It's the island of relevancy. Give us one last good one.
All right, MOS Brethren here says, do you think they want Cody's story to mirror his dad's story, have him face some adversity before he wins the championship or championships? It felt like since he's returned, it's been like he's had a yellow brick road to the belt there. Maybe have him build up a faction of his own. Maybe take the belt off Roman at SummerSlam or Mania, or do you guys see the Bloodline story going full circle and have Jay be the one to take the titles off Roman? I know we talked about that at the head of the show. Do you have any new insight now that we're an hour later now?
My insight is this. I hope you're right. I hope that this is a story to tell Cody dealing with adversity, and they get him there. I hope you're right. I really do.
You just see how immensely over Cody is, and if they think whether this pans out or not, whether this is a good idea or not, they think he's huge now. He's developed to a huge star in this chase with no adversity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, in the story, as it relates to the story of the Bloodline. Mm-hmm. Imagine we throw some adversity his way that he has to overcome, some obstacles, some odds that he really has to overcome.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Then maybe they think, well, that'll even get him to a whole other level. And then when he beats Roman, it's going to feel all the more special.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Because it's there, Cody is so over that it'd be foolish, I would think, of them not to pursue him as the guy to beat Roman.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
He's the most over baby face they have right now. And it's not even close.
Yeah. Well, Seth is close, man.
Seth is really over, but
Seth
I mean,
close.
I wonder if.
But I feel you. I feel you. Yeah.
If you look at the merch numbers, I'm guessing Cody outsells him by quite a lot.
Shirtless merch, yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah. I do want to say this also. Thank you so much to everybody who joined us over both of our platforms.
Yes.
For WrestleMania, I want to say this. I know there are people in our chat who are like, I'm not watching this anymore. It's wrestling. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine to root for somebody and to root against somebody. And if your guy loses, that's part of the emotional storytelling of it. That's part of it. And you could disagree with how it's told. You could disagree with everything about it. At the end of the day, it's wrestling. It's fun. Hopefully you guys will continue to join us for this. Mm-hmm. It's all fakey, predetermined fighting. And we're all here for the fun, for the goofiness, for the absurdity, for the drama, for the comedy. I love wrestling. I love WrestleMania. I love doing this shit with you, with the Enforcer, with all the friendos. We have a terrific community. My heart was so abnormally enlarged, which I probably need to get checked out.
Yeah,
but when I saw the picture of our mods, Maggie, Ulysses, Kaufman, Dope, Enforcer today when they got together, Sandra, all of them, Gareth, they were all hanging out last night. And Ulysses was texting me until 2:00 in the morning, right? And saying, man, talking to the bigwigs in your community, he put it. Ulysses is a bigwig in our community.
Oh, yes.
And the crazy thing is, man, we've been doing this, you and I, with the community. It predates the wrestling stuff. It goes back to the gaming stuff. Mm-hmm. Since 2009, I looked at this picture, and I see it's almost 15 years of friendos. Mm-hmm. Kaufman from when he was in middle school, and now he's already graduated college like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I see this picture, and it's almost 15 years now of our community together in one room, having fun, talking shit. And we're not there. They're just there. Mm-hmm. They're together because of the community that we kickstarted and they took to the next level.
Yep.
And that just really, I should probably get it checked out how big my heart feels with that, because it's probably not good for me. But I want to say thanks to everybody. I love seeing the mods together. I love seeing there was a Wrestle Juice sign out there. So shout out to what was his name? I think it was Josh Cash. Yeah, Josh Cash had a Wrestle Juice sign there. So thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks to Alex and Kayla for zooming in yesterday.
Yes. Thanks for the Enforcer for going through this whole weekend with us. We got one more day. We got tomorrow for Raw After Mania.
We're going to talk about whether or not we're going to do an actual review afterwards or save that for Tuesday. But we're definitely going to do going to do a watch along. Yeah.
And thank you for everybody who joined us both Friday, Saturday, both on Friday.
Dark Dank Lucha was there too. My goodness. I should hold on. Can I do this here? How do I do this? I'm going to mod Dark Dank Lucha. I don't know if he even wants me to.
That's
he's going to have to behave now because he's going to be a mod.
Yeah, I know.
But honestly, Dark Dank Lucha I asked him, and it was not easy for him to do it, but he went to that Simon Miller Cal Jack H match, and he videotaped the entire thing. So we're going to be able to watch that now. Watch how our precious H. By the way, you see Cal took all the stickers off, and now it's back to the H face.
I did.
So yeah. Dark Dank Lucha, now you're a mod. Congratulations. Bree and Brittany, the other friendos, the other mods that are here. Cody. That helped us with that did the form for the Big Red predictions. Thanks everybody for being with us. We appreciate our community.
Yes.
So yeah.
1000%. Yes.
Love y'all. And till next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Goodbye.